Spoilers for Titans Season 1 and 2. Now I've been working on this video on and off again for months now, and at first, I planned to start it with casually advertising DC Universe so more people could see the awesome content that's offered on it. But now, I'm not sure what to do. Warner Media is releasing a new streaming service in spring of 2020 called HBO Max, and if everything is just transferred over to it, then there's no point for DC Universe to even exist anymore, as sad as that is for me to say. It's a real shame that this service hasn't become a bigger deal like it should be yet. It was subject to a lot of controversy at its launch. Many fans were upset at the lack of content on the service, like none of the CW Arrowverse shows or any DC Extended Universe movies. There wasn't as much comic content as many fans would have liked either. Many comic runs weren't available, and some that were offered would only go up to issue number 6. And as far as originals go, at launch, Titans was the only original show that was coming in the near future, which was airing a new episode every week, which was great for WB in retrospect, but terrible in the streaming service era of binge-watching shows, and worse when you only have one original series on the service at the time. Since then, DC Universe has gone on to produce originals like Doom Patrol, Young Justice Outsiders, Swamp Thing, and more coming like Doom Patrol Season 2, the Harley Quinn animated series, and Stargirl. The comic catalog has also been greatly improved with almost anything you could want to find, you can. I haven't been able to find a comic run not on the app yet. Still, no DCEU movies or CW shows have made their way to the service due to licensing deals to other services like Netflix for CW shows, for example. The licensing agreements for DCEU movies aren't known as of right now, but Warner Bros. Might believe that having the recent DC films on a streaming app might clash with physical copy sales once they're released. So in hindsight, the service had an uphill battle to fight from the start, with the controversy around its launch and being one of many subscription services, but with the obstacle of being made for such a niche group. DC Universe might be in trouble, but HBO Max is just about to launch, coming in just a few months. 2 original series have been confirmed for HBO Max, a Green Lantern inspired series and an anthology series called Strange Adventures. The word inspired in the statement about the Green Lantern series worries me, but I'll talk about that in another video. The point is, if DC Universe isn't pulling enough of a profit, then HBO can save the series we have already and give us more original series. They've already saved Doom Patrol for the fans. Doom Patrol was going to be cancelled if HBO Max hadn't made a deal to stream it with DC Universe.
Relax, killer. I'm Dove. This is Hawk. We're friends of Dick Grayson.
What kind of friends?
The kind that know about the big scary cave downstairs.
No matter the future of the DCU service, I think it'd be fun to pitch a DC original that I've had floating around in my mind ever since Episode 2 of Titans, appropriately titled Hawk and Dove. In honor of Titans Season 2 finishing its season and Season 3 being confirmed, I want to talk about how interesting a Hawk and Dove original series could be. I would like to point out that Hawk and Dove have been confirmed to return for Season 3 of Titans, and they were in talks for a potential spin-off depending on how audiences responded to their characters. Now, whether it's still a possibility that they'll get a spin-off or not, I still want to talk about a potential story they could cover in that possible spin-off. Hank Hall and Dawn Granger stole the show in the 2 episodes they appeared in during Titans Season 1. I started watching Titans around Christmas 2018, so every episode in the first season was already out by that point. While I was watching the series, I really didn't enjoy how out of place the 2 Hawk and Dove episodes felt. The Hawk and Dove episodes just felt jarring to me. We were following a narrative with Robin, Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy, but 2 of the 11 episodes focused on characters that weren't relevant to the Trigon storyline at all. They're definitely playing a bigger role in Season 2 with the retcon of them being a part of the first generation of Titans, but I just felt as if their episodes took away from the narrative following the 4 Titans of Season 1. I didn't enjoy the Hawk and Dove episodes as a part of the Trigon story, but I loved the Hawk and Dove episodes as a standalone story unrelated to Titans Season 1.
Batman and Robin, you got company. Being fucking superheroes! It's gonna be awesome.
It's sad to say, because we should love the 4 main characters, but the side characters were the highlights of Titans Season 1. Characters like Hawk, Dove, Jason Todd, Donna Troy, and the Doom Patrol were all amazing. When we get entire episodes focused on just character development like these side characters, even after just one heartfelt episode with them, the audience has the opportunity to fall in love with them. Things like Negative Man singing Thunderstruck while preparing dinner, and Hawk and Jason sibling-like bickering are some of my favorite moments in the show. I want more of that. I need more standout scenes like that. Sure, there is a time and place for great action scenes, but Doom Patrol set a great example of you don't need action to tell a great story. Doom Patrol rarely had any action, but it was character-driven instead of plot-driven, and that's what counts. That's why Doom Patrol has built such a strong and devoted fan base. That's what Hawk and Dove would need to center on. It would certainly have action-packed fights, though. Titans has some great choreography in its action sequences. I'm just saying this series would need to take a page out of Doom Patrol's book and revolve around the emotion. Hank and Dawn already have a perfect relationship for this kind of storytelling. They're romantically involved. The romance between Hawk and Dove would be one of the show's biggest strengths, and the show would revolve around that. I have rarely seen hero dynamics like this, and it would be very interesting to see that kind of relationship play out during their crime-fighting careers. Spoilers for Arrow Season 4. Arrow completely wasted that opportunity by killing Laurel Lance off. I would have loved to have seen a Green Arrow Black Canary duo where they're also romantically involved like we've seen in other media like Injustice 2. I think this opportunity DC has with Hawk and Dove is even more opportune for a romantic superhero duo. Not only would it shake up the superhero status quo, but it could possibly draw in a different audience if it focused on the romance in the show. One of my favorite moments of the Hawk and Dove episodes was the scene where Hank showed Dawn the dove's nest he built her for their 3.5-year anniversary. It was a touching moment, and it really shows that they could be a dynamic duo, just like Batman and Robin, but in their own way.
Neighborhood needs help.
And you thought dressing up helped it?
No, me too.
Even though they were prominently featured in 2 episodes of Titans Season 1, only one of those episodes covered their origin story, which easily could be explained in heavier detail in their own show. Their origin story was skimmed over in only that single episode. Hank and Dawn's friendship and eventual relationship needs to be slowed down and fleshed out more. The origin of the Hawk and the Dove had to be cheapened by being forced to tie back into the Titans narrative every so often. It annoyed me having Rachel just disrupt the origin episode every so often just to scream at Hank and Dawn for no reason. Another thing I would love to see from the show would be how Hank and Dawn became friends with Dick and got their updated costumes from Stu, compared to the football gear and plastic masks Hank and his brother were using to fight crime. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Hawk and Dove had the best costumes in the entire first season aside from the Robins. The bar wasn't set very high with Corey dressing like that, and Rachel just wearing a hoodie the entire season, but nevertheless, Hawk and Dove looked great. I want to know the story behind them, and I cannot wait to see them in action more.
Perfect timing.
Things are getting super fucking ugly out here.
You're not gonna make fun of my suit?
I just did.
I've missed this.
In the episode that introduced Hawk and Dove, Hawk comments that Batman forbade Robin from hanging out with him and Dawn. We definitely know that Hawk and Dove were using the cash made by the gunrunners in Washington, D.C. for their own well-being. I don't know how either of them were making money prior to becoming superheroes, though. These heroes, while wanting to do the right thing, still need the cash to survive, so they take the money from the criminals they bust. Batman would, of course, see this as morally wrong and naturally would want to keep Robin away from these 2 delinquents in his eyes, because they would be a bad influence on him. This would be such an interesting aspect of vigilantism to see play out. It reminds me of Red Arrow from Young Justice Season 2. Hawk and Dove are stopping these gunrunners to protect the citizens of Washington, D.C., but they need the money to live on, so there is clearly an ethical dilemma for 2 superheroes here.
No, fun fact. They pair for life. Best 3.5 years of my life.
Now, because of the retconning that Season 2 has done for Season 1, we know that there was a Titans team before Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven came along, which consisted of Robin, Wonder Girl, Hawk, Dove, Aqualad, and who I'm hoping is Arsenal and Kid Flash. I don't want this show to be a sequel to Titans. In Titans, Hank and Dawn are back with the Titans and ready to give crime fighting another shot, but not as a couple. The problem with Hawk and Dove being involved with the Titans is that I really feel that they're taking away screen time from the main Titans and are being wasted in this show. A spin-off for them with better writing is where Alan and Minka would both shine as these characters. This show would work better as a prequel, immediately leading up to Titans with Hawk and Dove taking down the Washington, D.C. gunrunners. We learn in that first episode featuring Hawk and Dove about the gun ring that they've been attempting to shut down. They've seemingly been chipping away at this operation for months or possibly even years. This is as interesting a premise as a show like Netflix's Daredevil. A small, self-contained story set in a big city where a vigilante, or in this case, vigilantes, fight for what's right and to protect the people of their respective cities. If any of you read comics or want to start reading comics, there's an incredible Hawkeye story that was written by Matt Fraction. I strongly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. It's set in mainly New York City, focusing on Hawkeye and Hawkeye, Clint Barton and Kate Bishop. It's a small story focused around the Hawkeyes taking out a Russian gang that are trying to violently seize the building Clint Barton is living in, and evict the other tenants living there as well, through violent force if necessary. It's not at all what you would call a world-changing event like Infinity Gauntlet or Age of Ultron, but it's a great story with plenty of heart and character to compensate for that kind of action, but also has plenty of small-scale action as well. Like I said before, you don't need huge war-type action pieces to make a story great. It sometimes can even hinder the plot. Small stories work so well for street level characters like the Hawkeyes and especially Hawk and Dove.
You lying sack of shit.
I've got one more thing to mention since the finale of Titan Season 2 aired after I finished writing this script. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why do Honk and Dunk here deserve their own show? They weren't good in Season 2 at all. Well, I really don't think Season 2 of Titans properly prioritized any character aside from maybe Dick Grayson. The storylines and writing were both really sloppy to me in this season, and I feel that Hawk and Dove were both handled a lot better in the first season when there were less characters and less concurrent storylines going on. So I think with new writers, showrunners, and no other characters to share the spotlight with, Hawk and Dove could turn out to be one of the better shows on either DC Universe or HBO Max. I hope you guys enjoyed my first video. If you're wondering how I feel about Titan Season 2 as a whole, that video is coming soon. If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like. I really enjoyed making it. This was my first try at the whole YouTube thing, so if anybody has any feedback for my writing, editing style, whatever it is, it can be positive or negative, just leave a comment below, and if it's something I can work on, I'll absolutely try to work on it. Be sure to subscribe if you like this type of content, and hit the bell to receive notifications for my uploads if you want to see more videos like this. Have a great day. See you later, guys.